welcome everyone to this APA Scope event. My name is Inti St. Clair. I am an Austin, Texas-based lifestyle and portrait photographer who I work mostly in the commercial world. I also happen to be vice president of the APA National Board, and I am a part of the diversity committee, which puts this event on once a month as part of APA. So yeah, just for those of you who are not yet familiar with APA, APA stands for American Photographic Artists. Our mission is to create a diverse and inclusive photographic community that supports all photographers at every level in their career and champions the rights of image makers worldwide. We strive to provide the tools and connections that photographers need to run a successful business. Our board is run by photographers who volunteer their time to be on committees, both on the national board and on a regional level. I admittedly don't remember exactly how many regional boards there are, but I think there's 6. Anyway, that information is on the website. Sorry, I didn't have that right in front of me. There are lots of reasons to join APA. Making connections with other professionals, obviously huge, super important. Beyond that, we have Hire an APA Pro, which is a great way to get seen. People go on there to search for creatives, you know, in whatever market they're trying to produce shoots in. So that's very useful to be on there. We also have a large number of discounts with our partners for different products, including things like Apple and Stella Pro Lights and all things like that. We have discounts on all kinds of events, and Scope is not the only thing that we do for events with APA. There's lots of other things that include different ways to run your business, creative events. We do portfolio reviews that I find incredibly valuable. We also do a lot of contests throughout the year. At the time of this recording, we are open for entries for our annual photo contest. There are 14 different categories that you can enter in. Anyone can enter, you don't have to be a member, although I highly suggest you become a member because you get discounts on your entry fees as well. So for example, the normal entry fee is $40 per image, but I, as a professional, can get my entries in for only $15. So really, really worth it, offsets the cost of your membership. And the prizes are amazing, including a Sony A7 III camera with a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. There's also lighting kit, there's think tank backpacks, there's just all kinds of stuff. So highly, highly recommend that you join APA if you haven't already. So beyond that, I am super excited about tonight's event. We have Robb Scharetg with us. He is an incredible photographer. I will not be doing a full introduction for him. That will be up to Laura Chase, who I'm going to introduce to you right now. Laura Chase is a wonderful food and lifestyle photographer based out of Washington, DC. She is also on the National APA board with me as secretary, and she has had the pleasure of working with Robb for a while now, and I don't actually know how she first met him, so I'm excited to hear that story, and I think you guys are really gonna love tonight's event. I think Robb is incredibly inspiring on so many levels. His work is really gorgeous. He's been in this industry for a long time and is certainly someone who I look up to on a creative level. And and he's just a wonderful human being. And you know, he has this disorder, which they will talk about more, and you will also get a chance to hear for yourself. And I just love that he uses that as a tool for success. So on that happy note, take it away, Laura Chase.
All right. Well, thanks, Inti. I have known Robb maybe like 14 years or so now. And I met him when I was still in college, and I was at the local neighborhood swimming pool, and I saw this guy with a big camera, and I went up to him and I was like, I want to be a professional photographer when I grow up and graduate college. And then Robb started talking to me, and I had what Robb will call the oh shit moment, where I was like, oh my God, I don't know what he's saying. And so I kind of freaked out and was like, thanks, bye. And then I was leaving with my mom, and Robb chased me down to the parking lot, opened up the trunk of his car, and handed me one of his professional postcards, which he has a gajillion of probably at this point, but I just love that he was like always ready to get one out. And we stayed in touch over social media for the next 10 years. And so after I had my son and I decided to sort of switch gears and focus just on food photography, I recreated my whole website, and Robb was really the only person I knew. And I was like, hey, can you take a look at it? He invited me to APA portfolio review that was happening that night. Yeah. And that night or like the next day, he was like, buy an iPad, show up. And I got Robb let me sit in on his portfolio review so I could see what those were like. And then he very graciously let me use half of his time to show the reviewers my work, which was a great start. But so he's been a wonderful friend and mentor for many years now, and he's a big part of my life, and he knows my kids, and we're very close friends at this point. So anyway, we're gonna start scrolling through some of Robb's work, and I'm gonna read Robb's wonderful third person written description. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it the way you wrote it, because I think it's so you. Okay, I will note my commas. Okay, so I'm gonna have you scroll this. Okay. Let me screen share, and then I'll read from this. All right, everybody good? Okay. Let me make that smaller. There you go. Okay. I'm not a big third person speaker. I'm not big on third person speak. So this is me. I'm a native Californian who moved from San Francisco to the nation's capital in 2000. And despite missing the surf and sailing of home, I've gradually come to love back east. I try to go home as much as possible. I've worked in the photography industry since the late 1980s, starting out assisting, then later moving into production, casting, and location scouting. I was blessed to work with and be guided by wonderful mentors at every stage. I have been involved with APA since 1989. That's when Taylor Swift was born. First volunteering with the San Francisco chapter and then the DC chapter since 2002. I'm a huge believer in giving back. To that end, I volunteer, mentor, and otherwise weigh in. I am so proud of the success of those I've worked with. I'm a passionate lover of the outdoors and people, and often get to fuse those two subjects, making emotionally connective and market effective images for my myriad of clients. My photography work has been featured in three volumes of Lürzers Archive, 200 best ad photographers in the world, 4 volumes of One Island's best of the best photographers, excuse me. Please. Recognized with numerous Addies and American Advertising Awards, AIGA Awards, and selected for inclusion in APA San Francisco's Something Personal exhibit 3 times. I have a voice disorder. Oh, the irony. Called vocal dystonia since 2001. It can make creative calls a challenge, and ordering in loud restaurants interesting, but I've also found it to be a vital tool, not a handicap, as it forces my subjects, CEOs, politicians, athletes, celebrities, and regular people, all to slow down and listen. As a result, my images show a genuine connection between me and those in front of my lens. As much as a pain in the ass as it can be, I found it to be a powerful tool. Let me scroll down a little bit. Now, Robb didn't write this part. I made him include all of these clients. And honestly, I had to just cut myself off at some point, but prepare to be wowed. So we've got the Marine Administration, the Navy, Veterans Affairs, Merck, Pfizer, AARP, Shell, Amtrak, Forbes, Monsanto, Corvus, General Motors, Cadillac, Boeing, Royal Bank of Scotland, and the list goes on and on and on. So we're gonna get to the part where we can hear from Robb, but I'm gonna give a nice definition of what Robb's disorder is that he lives with. So it's called spasmodic dysphonia. Sorry, I was just making sure I said it right. A spasmodic dysphonia is a voice disorder characterized by momentary periods of uncontrolled vocal spasms, tightness in the throat, and or recurrent hoarseness. At certain times, affected individuals must make a conscious effort to speak. The most frequent signs of this disorder is a sudden momentary lapse or interruption of the voice. Spasmodic dysphonia is a form of dystonia, a group of neurological movement disorders characterized by involuntary muscle spasms. And so in preparing for this lecture, I actually learned that I learned a lot of things, but I learned that some of the hand motions that Robb uses, like when he types, are also as a result of this vocal dystonia. And I didn't realize that it affected not just his vocal muscles, but many other muscles as well. So I'm going to start copying and pasting our Q&A into the comment section so that Robb can tell his story, but also so that you can, oh, I'm sorry, hold on, Robb wants to keep showing his work. So that you can read in his own words his answers, but we can also hear his voice. Okay, let's finish because these are all so good. Oh, love it. I'm just going to stop on my favorites. Oh, right. So good. Personal work, personal work. He is the king of personal work. Love that. Oh, and there it is, the beautiful finale. Okay. Here we go. All right. So here, everybody can check out their chat. And I've typed the question and then the answer. So Robb, tell us about the onset and what it is. Do you want me to read it? Okay. I know it'll be easier, but I copied and pasted it in the chat so that everybody can read and listen to you.
Well,
I mean, nobody's here to listen to me. They're here to listen to you.
Okay, well,
Okay, so he said he woke up in 2001 and his voice was fucked. Sing it. Late March? Oh, late month. Late month. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay, so when did I'm sorry, when did it start? When did it occur to you that you had to start adapt?
When I called 411.
When you called 411. Okay. So you'd said before that at first you adapted by joking around at your own expense and basically just using a lot of swear words. But then I love this story personally when you realized they're not talking to us.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's just us talking.
Right.
It's okay. This is a truncated version of the story of when Robb realized this wasn't something he could just laugh off. So for those of you that listen to NPR, an acclaimed host of the show, Diane Rehm, has vocal dysphonia, which is what Robb has. And they ran into each other in the waiting room at Johns Hopkins to see the specialist. And what did she say to you?
Oh, fuck.
So Diane Ream, who's the poster child for this disorder, says to Rob, wow, you're fucked. Which is incredible. I don't, who knew she knew that word, right? Okay. What have you learned since then, and what are some of the tools you use to communicate? You got to tell them. I can't just read all this. They want to hear from you. How did you found out about this app through a podcast or something? It's the purple one.
So I can type
So it's like notes in the sense that you can just type whatever you want, but to keep the conversation flowing, all he has to do is flick his wrist and the screen clears. Oh, good. He's adding something in the chat. I apologize in advance if there are small naked children that just got out of the bath. Rob's typing to us. There we go. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That's great.
No. Yeah.
Marvel superhero approved. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really want you to be the one to talk about this answer, because I wrote a short version of what you said, but I want you to say the long version. So why do you not call this a disability?
Because what I do is all about connecting.
It's all about connecting.
And people who fall down.
Yeah.
Pay.
That's very true.
Connect. And so often out.
Yeah. Is that right? Wow.
Out because they
Yeah. So Rob says that it forces people to slow down, and he can really connect with people, and he's got the most beautiful blue eyes, so pretty easy to connect with him. But it really, I mean, even people who say, I only have 10 minutes, I got to get in and out, they slow down and hang out with him for 3 hours. And Rob says that sometimes he doesn't even bring his camera out on set until an hour after talent's been there, because he really likes to take the time to connect with people. And another reason that it's not, well, I guess with the right art director, they can see how they can see the benefit. Yeah, they trust him.
Yeah.
And Rob actually was awarded a really enormous national job through the American Speech Language Hearing Association because they thought of him immediately and they thought it was a perfect fit. What are you laughing at?
It's only be me.
Yeah, it could only be you. Yeah.
No, be for Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah. Yeah.
Who cry.
Who cried?
I call him so good at.
Wow.
People.
So his ads made people cry because of the connection they were able to make. Yeah. It's really powerful stuff. And that goes down to a question we have later about what does good communication mean to you? Maybe we can jump down to that. So what does good communication mean to you?
Emotional creating a dialogue goes on and on. It's all about trust.
It's all about trust.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Well, a creative director, a very renowned creative director, saw Robb's Instagram post for this event and was nice enough to send him an email. And this quote here that I just sent you all is part of that email. And he said, on a personal note, as you know, I read your Instagram post. I'm not sure what to say about your speech communication difficulties. I think we communicate just fine. At first, when we met in South Carolina, I admit it was awkward because I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has the oh shit moment. Then spending time with you made it much easier. We worked it out, and that's the key. Find a way to make it happen. Anyway, your work speaks for itself, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. People like you. They really like you. Well, we already knew that, Rob. You're a very likable person. Okay, I think one of the big questions that we got in the pre-Q&A arena was, how do you deal with a creative call?
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this, but I'm going to let you explain. A lot of patience. But it's true that you tell people in the email, you know, that you've got this vocal disorder, and then children, and then most of the time the people say, oh, I'm sure it's not that bad, let's hop on a call and see how it goes. And then they do, and they realize that it really is very difficult. But Zoom has been a great assistant with this, right? Because people can read your lips. You can type in the chat. And now we have our wonderful, we share a rep in Philly reps with Stacy Swiderski and Michael Kaminsky, who've been able to come in and assist directly on these calls for Rob and be his voice of negotiation. And Rob is typing something to us right now. What did you say? I tell people I speak Shark Tank, don't you? Oh my gosh, say the thing that you usually say. What? Say it to them.
What? Did I mumble?
He said, what? Did I mumble? So that's been the big real gift. I mean, I know just recently when you had a call with Michael, you were ecstatic.
Yeah, it was so great.
It felt like you got your mouthpiece back.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Way to go, Stacy, for hiring him. Yeah. And then another important question is, how do you direct client on set? Do you have one go-to person? Slowly. Yeah. I'm going to copy and paste this for you all to read, but there's a really beautiful story, one of many stories that Rob could pick from, about communicating with talent who thought they were all that in a bag of chips, and Rob brought him back down to earth a little bit. So I'd like you to tell that. John Wall, basketball player. Yep.
Big paid
millions of dollars. He's paid millions of dollars.
Big attitude.
Came on set with a big attitude.
A big group of people. Like, off. And we
He made John cry.
What do you want? Help you to make the people out there.
You're gonna make me cry.
You do a whole set. You agree the up to a what the fuck is you say? So
So Rob, he walked around the court with John for a while, and John had come in with this huge entourage of people, and by the end of the conversation, John had tears in his eyes, and the art director said to Rob, "What the fuck did you say?" And Rob said, I
asked him, tell me about the group.
Tell me about your grandmother.
Because he was so that to make her proud. And I said, you think that I can like this, like her proud. And he said, no, go what food was.
So he said, John ended up saying that he just wanted to make his grandma proud. And so it all of a sudden became a closed set. All of the entourage was gone, and it was just John and Rob and the art director. And they were able to have this beautiful, vulnerable connection. Let's see what Sam said. Wait, I'm reading it. I'm going to read what Sam wrote. Coming from my experience working with Rob, I was curious beforehand, and the experience was like watching a performance by Marcel Marceau. Rob has such a gift to communicate exactly what he wants with his subjects and gestures and his puckish glimmer in his eyes and smile. And it's true. And you know what? You're such an eloquent speaker and writer that I literally forget about the vocal dysphonia until I see you in person again. And then I'm like, this is such an injustice to the world, because I would love to like have easier conversations with you. You talk a lot now?
I would talk a lot.
You would talk a lot more? Okay. Well, those are all the Q&As that we have set up. We'd love to take some questions if anybody has some. Yeah, we'd love to hear them. Yeah, we can't hear them. They'll have to type your questions in the chat.
No.
I think they can also type them in the Q&A box.
Okay.
And then let's see here. One of the questions that we did receive beforehand that has nothing to do with anything we've discussed so far is, where do you find your inspiration?
Painting and books.
Paintings and books.
And real people. You've always said that. He loves real people.
Any particular artists that you find particularly inspiring?
Degas. I thought you were going to say Hopper.
No, a little bit.
Yeah, it is a little dark. Thomas Wolfe. Sing it for me. Cole, Thomas Cole. Okay. So this is one thing that I learned about Rob during our preparation for this is, and he's been hiding this from me for 14 years, is that when he sings what he wants to say, it allows his vocal cords to relax and you can understand him better. And it's a really wonderful tool, and I'm encouraging him to use it more.
I mean, so are you going to sing for us? Because I would love to hear that.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, that's pretty great.
Big difference, right?
Totally. That's really cool. I mean, I think that's so interesting because that's so similar to like, people who often don't speak English sing in English, right?
Yeah,
And they do a
right?
good job, and you can totally understand them, and it makes sense. There must be some sort of weird connection that happens.
Totally.
Someone just asked, Corey Nichols just asked, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh! What did you say? ABBA?
Yeah,
Dancing Queen by ABBA.
That is wonderful. I love that.
I would love to. Oh my God, that was such a good question. Whoever asked that.
Corey Nichols for the win, for sure.
That was awesome.
So Kimberly Branham asked, confidence versus conceit. How do you portray yourself in a good light to those wary of newcomers?
Very interesting.
No. I have no concrete. I have no. Maybe if I'm not getting the question.
Oh, maybe he's not getting the question.
I think it just has to do with, this is more like in general, when you're connecting with new potential clients, how do you portray yourself as confident without coming across as being conceited? That's my interpretation. It's not my question, but
I have no arrogance.
He has no arrogance.
At all.
It's very not arrogant of you to say.
I have no patience with pigs.
No patience with pigs. Peanuts. Pretense. And bake. Pig. This is what we do. This is, you're seeing, this is how we really interact all the time.
People who solve a problem.
Ooh. People hire him to solve a problem.
I want to know all I care about what they need, how I can help them. My whole life is about helping other people.
Yeah. Well, it shows in your non-photographic relationships too. I mean, that's you're that kind of friend. He says that his whole life he's lived to help people. And
yeah, I think there's a difference between being, conceited, and for me, it's like being confident and portraying, I understand what your mission is and what you're trying to accomplish, and therefore I have based on our conversations, I have the confidence that I'm going to do that for you or be able to do that for you. And you're asking all the questions and having all the conversations beforehand that really give them that sense that you can do that for them. And that's, and also like your, that other art director said, your work speaks for itself, right? So like you're showing them beautiful work, and you're also putting in the time and the effort to really connect and have those conversations about, that gives them the confidence that, yeah, you can do it. And it's
go ahead.
You go ahead.
You want me to go ahead? No, that's basically all I had to say. But I think, everything that I've known about you is you never come across as anything but completely genuine, and you can be completely genuine and really proud and really confident in your abilities, and not be conceited. So
I've said this many times. This is not a
This is not a handicap.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
I love that you feel that way and you frame it that way. And I'm quite certain that you convince other people of that in the best way possible. And that honestly is the biggest reason that I wanted you on here, because I think that that initial oh shit impression that you give off to people, they think, oh my God, how does he do this? How does he navigate his life, and how does he have this successful career? And I just think it's so inspiring that you do that, and you do it with such grace.
Grace is such a good word to describe Rob. It's a hard way to live.
Living
Living in grace is a hard way to live. Yeah. You do it. You don't even know you're doing it. I mean, it just in the ways that you no, let me brag about you. Just in the way you mentor people, and you don't even think about you're doing it. You're just like, I'm here, I'm a resource. I want to help you. I want the next generation of photographers to know about licensing. I want them, I want this industry. Preach. I'm preaching the good word of Scharetg now. I didn't know what licensing was, 4 or 5 years ago until, this man showed up in my life. And I think that you've done that for generations of commercial photographers, and you don't even think about it. It's just innate for you to do it.
So there really aren't that many. I mean, there were plenty of people who wrote in and said how excited they were to hear your perspective and your story. The one other question that did come up was, should photos that are put on Instagram be copyrighted first, in your opinion?
No, within
1998?
Within 90 days.
Oh, within 90 days.
I hope that you are far better at doing that than me, because I am a horrible example. Then again, I don't really post on Instagram anymore either, so there's that.
Inti is to stock photography making money as Rob is to lawsuit making money. No, that's a joke. I'm kidding, but he's really, really good about it, and
that's amazing. And that's so inspiring.
It has boded well for him. We'll put it that way.
Oh, I love that, Rob. I need to take some of that mojo, because I don't copyright anything. I'm so bad.
I've told him
I know,
I would love to do a workshop where he can walk us through the Library of Congress website and everything, and because I've registered stuff and then I don't get the confirmation back, and I'm like, did I do it right? I don't what is it stealable now? I don't know.
Maybe we should just, Rob, maybe we could just do some sort of standing on APA thing about copyright or something. You're so cute. So let's see, the only other thing which we kind of addressed, but I guess this is a nuance of it, is, how do you get your prospective clients to trust how great you are interacting with subjects on set? Like getting them to give you what you're looking to communicate.
He's typing, Chris.
Okay. Yeah.
There have been many. I have
flown, driven
to make them in person about face to face. I can call. Hey, face to face. I can close.
So he'll fly or drive to clients to meet them face to face to close the deal.
That's super smart. Yeah, I mean, because then they do see that sparkle in your eye, and they get your energy in person, and that makes a lot of sense.
Matthew, I see your comment about how your father had a stroke and lost his ability to talk. I'm really sorry to hear that. That sounds really difficult, but he could still sing a bit. That's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. And that's one thing we didn't actually talk about is, Rob, what do people think you have when they first meet you? What are their first assumptions?
Stroke.
Stroke?
Yeah.
Deaf?
Drunk.
Drunk?
That's funny.
I remember you texted me one day, you were really pissed off that somebody was speaking sign language to you.
Yeah. Oh,
It happens all the time.
I'm sure.
No, I speak.
He said, I speak.
Mhm.
Right. I can see how that would be annoying. He's typing to us again.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Rob? It doesn't have to be about this. It can be about the industry in general, or just any questions you have about how to be successful. I mean, look at his career, look at his awards, like clearly he is a fountain of information. So any questions that you have regarding marketing or a business or anything, like feel free to ask those as well.
Scott Evans.
Oh, Dilbert.
Yeah.
Oh.
To talk.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think Rob would be a great person that, just since we have time, why don't you talk a little bit about the importance of marketing? Because I remember when you first started mentoring me, when you told me about your marketing budget, I just
I mean, feel free to
words.
share. Inquiring minds want to know.
All about the
long game. It's all about the long game.
It takes a long time, but it always pays off.
Takes a long time, but it always pays off. Yeah. So what do you think the most effective marketing things that you do are?
In-person movies.
Amen. Preach, Rob, because I feel 100% the same way. It's all about making that personal connection.
And then shoot new work.
Yeah, show new work all the time. Yep, for sure.
Shoot work.
Yeah.
Quality.
The work that we saw tonight, I want everybody to know, I think that's the first time a public audience has seen a lot of that work that Rob has done. And I mean, that's like 2 years of backed up, like personal work that he's been curating.
And I think the personal work thing is so key. It's so key.
Yeah. Did you say only 10 photos of that were client work?
Yeah.
Everything else was personal work that you saw tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I firmly believe that you need to show the work that you want to get hired to create. And only you can really execute that to the fullest vision that you have. Yeah. And it doesn't need to cost a lot. Absolutely. Yeah. That's true.
It does. Yeah, you got to put in the time.
Put in the time. Yep.
Yeah. But
Oh yeah.
That's also really key.
Super key is the networking, and APA facilitates that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's what they stand out from other professional organizations too, is the connections, the genuine in-person connections that we make with people.
You met in
That's right. No, in New York.
In New York.
Yeah. When Rob brought me to New York to shadow his reviews. Yeah. Absolutely. It is. It's cool. It's really cool to meet people that you followed on Instagram and like sit next to them and talk about their work. And yeah. So if
Yeah, I
anybody
mean,
comments about portfolio reviews, go for it.
Yeah, just to sort of catch everybody up who's listening in, Rob is talking about the fact that I actually met both Rob and Laura Chase at an in-person networking event where portfolio reviews in New York. And so those are extremely valuable, not only for networking and showing your work and trying to get jobs, but also making connections with other creatives that pay off, you know, in building a relationship. So if you have a question about anything and we all, even though we are all freelancers and individuals, creating community and having support is so essential. And I think that for me is the biggest reason for my involvement in APA. Is much like Rob, I want to give back. And we forgot to mention that Rob is also on the board of APA in DC. Oops, that was a total oversight on my part because I should have mentioned that. But all three of us here are super involved in APA because we want to create community and we want to support photographers and lift each other up, because we really feel like that's the way that we make a successful community. Yeah, so many people because of
1989, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. He's been in APA longer than I've been a photographer. I love that. No, that's fine. That's great.
The days of film.
Yeah, I started out in film too, and now film's all hot right now. Well, is there anything else that you guys want to touch on before we wrap up? It doesn't seem like anyone else in our audience or attendees have any questions left.
Juliet, wherefore art thou? Sorry.
Hi.
Rob wants to
have any questions? This is Juliet, you guys. She's the director of APA, in case you didn't already know that, our fearless leader.
Well, I just want to say how much I appreciate having this conversation. We've been talking about doing it for a while, and it exceeded my expectations. I just
that's awesome.
It's such a great group of people to begin with who are hosting this and putting this on, and then it's a great conversation, and also just our ability to last week to connect about it and discuss all this. I just it's really inspiring, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Well, and I want to thank you all for inviting me to do this with Rob, because I got to know one of my good friends even better, and that's awesome.
Yay, that's perfect.
It can feel hard and scary to talk about, you know, things that you don't know if somebody feels like it's a weakness or if they just try and pretend it doesn't exist. But this was a really nice way to just like go for it and really learn about what he's dealing with.
Yeah, I love that, not to be intimidated. And I think beyond that, I mean, one of the reasons that we all wanted to do that is we want to encourage all photographers to to follow their passion, to create the art that they want to create, to have the career that they want to have, no matter what, right? And that's what APA is all about, is that we want to support all photographers and help them just be successful in whatever that looks like for them. And APA, and Rob wrote here, ask for help, and that's what APA is for. And you know, we're always inviting new members. We're also always looking for new members to be on our national boards or our committees. Our diversity committee is super active, and we have other committees as well. We always register your work, yes. And but I mean, the way that you get hired in this industry is by networking. And look, networking also includes connecting with other artists. I refer jobs to my other artist friends when I can't do them, and I would never refer anyone for a job if I hadn't met them in person, felt like they were going to represent me in a good light if they're going out and doing a job that I can't do but was asked to do. So like making these connections in any way. And Rob said he's seriously always here to chat. I can say the same for myself, Laura Chase, sorry, and Juliet. And also I'm going to put in here the link to our current award prizes. so that you can see all the wonderful prizes that there are, and hopefully go in and actually enter your images. And if you don't have a current membership to APA, please join us as well. Anything else, Julia?
It's a great
It
program.
was fun.
Yeah. 3 what?
Good.
Links, yeah.
Good.
Drinks. He said it costs 3 drinks.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
No,
Great.
And then we'll be posting this on YouTube soon for those who, if you missed part of it. So.
Or if you just run into somebody who might want to check it out, it's always nice to let them know. And all the scopes are available on YouTube, and they're all really great. So,
Well, thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the
Right.
ticket.
Thank
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you all
you.
for doing this.
See you
I hope to
soon.
see you in real life soon.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Take
Bye.
care and have a good night, everyone.
All right.